Okay, this is Orlando Wilson. What I want to talk about in this video quickly, as always, is something to do with how people are marketing themselves on social media. And this is also a little bit of a heads up for clients when they're looking to hire people. Excuse me. It makes me laugh when I look on a lot of social media platforms and I see people promoting themselves, promoting their services, and after their names they seem to have a load of different letters that I take it means they've done certain courses, etc. You know what? Most of these letters after people's names, I've got no idea what the hell they mean. It means they've done some course. I understand it if somebody's done a PhD, etc., etc., done some formal education, then they put their letters after their names. But I think there's a load of stuff out there now that people are promoting, are putting letters after their names because they've done some basic course or some, not even a diploma course, or they belong to some association, etc., etc. You know what? Outside of their little world, most other people are not going to know what the hell those letters mean. I don't. I had somebody recently, the reason for this video, I had somebody recently say something about something I was promoting on social media. Nice enough comment, but to me it was completely ridiculous. And this guy, again, after his name, he had a load of letters, which I take it meant something to him. And what I was talking about, it was to do with the conflict in Syria, with the terrorist groups there have decided to go on the offensive, etc. And this gentleman put up a diagram or something, some nice little thing that had lots of pretty little flags and everything else on it, and arrows of how things are organized and who's supporting the terrorists, etc. Well, I take it they're freedom fighters in his books, and who's looked for supporting ISIS, etc. And you know what? It all looked well and good. As I said, in a lot of British guys will understand this term, bullshit baffles brains. But when you actually look at what he was putting out there, it was complete and utter garbage. It's very well presented garbage, but it was garbage. Now, this is where I take it in his world, that garbage, well, what he was putting out there was believable. But as I've said in other videos, a lot of people are that afraid to tell the truth about stuff these days because they need to fit a narrative. Let me mention something. The diagram he put out there, and this was to do with ISIS, and this is basic fact. Who supports ISIS, who's connected with ISIS, etc. Who's connected with these rebels, these terrorists in Syria, the terrorist groups. And to me, the whole thing was missing two of the main countries that's actually supporting this, is causing part of the problem, that's supporting the rebel groups in Syria. His little diagram with all the flags and all the bad guys and everything else didn't have a British flag on it. And it's common knowledge that the Brits have been working with these rebel groups, these terrorist groups within Syria. If you doubt me, then just basically look up the White Helmets, and I've mentioned them in other videos. The White Helmets were working with various terrorist groups in Syria, and they were funded and they were set up by a British Army officer. Also, they were getting funding, the White Helmets were getting funding from a lot of government organizations or governments, I think including the British government. How were they able to operate in terrorist controlled areas? Well, they must have been doing business with the terrorists, right? And if you Google things, if you check the facts, you can see there's other information leading back to the British being involved in, connected to terrorist organizations, not just in Syria, but also in Libya, etc., etc. The other country that wasn't mentioned was Israel. And the Israelis have come out and said they've supplied weapons, they've given support to terrorist groups, rebel groups within Syria. Again, the White Helmets, they come out and they said they supported al-Nusra, etc. And this is fact. This is in the media. This is in mainstream media. It's fact, if you bother to do your research. Now, I've done other videos about this, about people doing threat assessments, etc. And you have to be careful of a lot of stuff coming out of Western Europe, especially UK at the moment, because the Brits cannot, due to the new terrorism laws in UK, or the recent terrorism laws, they can't be seen to be paying any compliments to terrorist groups, etc., because again, they can be done for terrorism. They cannot be seen to be even this thing that I just said about it's fact, it's been in the media, the Israelis have said they were supporting al-Nusra. Well, if somebody doesn't like that comment in the United Kingdom, they complain to the police, whoever said that comment, these threat assessment companies, etc. They can have the police knocking on their door and accusing them of being anti-Semitic. So this is where this gentleman with all the letters after his name, what he was putting out there fitted his agenda, fitted the agenda and his perspectives, the British perspective, etc. But you know what? It was complete and utter rubbish. But this is where that fitted his agenda, their narrative. But again, in reality, this information that they're putting out there is complete and utter rubbish, and they're pushing this on to clients, etc. So this is where, if I see somebody with how many different letters after his name, it's back down to, okay, bullshit's trying to baffle brains. And again, if somebody can come up with good content or come up with the facts, then okay, power to them. They don't have to have letters after their name. But this is where you see a lot of these organizations that's telling people, put these letters after your name and everybody will think you're important, are putting out complete and utter garbage that's non-factual. So this is where, as I said, keep it real when you're marketing yourself, because all right, you might be able to baffle some people, but if people got half a brain and people know what they're talking about, you're just making yourself look stupid. So in the meantime, I have an array of books up on Amazon that talk about various aspects of the close protection business, investigation business, kidnap and ransom, etc. We have a load of videos up on social media, we're up on YouTube, we're up on the main social media platforms that talk about various aspects of the security business, close protection business, etc. So follow us along on social media, and you got any questions, feel free to reach out. In the meantime, be good, stay safe, and try to stay out of trouble.